What's up, y'all? Welcome back to an ESPN NFL 2K5 franchise rebuild with the Miami Dolphins. We are 1-0 in Season 3, and we're heading off to play the Cincinnati Bengals. Another homecoming for Carson Palmer. He was riding the bench for the Cincinnati Bengals. We had sent A.J. Feely over there in the first season to go get Carson, and John Kidna is still the starting quarterback. He had himself a pretty good year last year. He had 3,500 yards, 27 touchdowns, just 10 interceptions. That seems to be where he's at. And of course, Rudy Johnson, his second year in a row, having over 1,000 yards. Rudy is always a problem whenever he has clear space in front of him. Lots of weapons on this offense, including Chad Johnson, who had himself a year last year, not an MVP year like Ricky, but he still had 1,500 yards receiving and 11 touchdowns. That's a good year for him in Season 2. Willie Anderson is the best guy on the offensive line and their final elite offensive player. He's got 90s in the blocking numbers, which you love to see for a lineman. On the other side of the ball, the only elite player is Chris Hovan. You might have heard of him. We got him in free agency for the Lions in that universe, but in this one, he is a Cincinnati Bengal, and the second best player on this defense is Jerome Woods, coming in at an 88 overall in his 11th season. So we line up pretty well. It's going to be a good little game. We're 91 overall. They're an 88. We have a better defense than them. We have a better offense than them, and hopefully we're going to have a better win than them. So let's send it to Chris Berman in the studio, and let's play the Bengals.
I'm Chris Berman. Coming up on ESPN. As the song goes, the weather outside is frightful. Not snow, but the rain coming down in buckets out of the stadium. We'll see how much this affects both teams' passing game. My guess, a lot. Miami, Cincinnati, now.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another rainy and soggy adventure. This time we're going to be at Paul Brown Stadium in Cincinnati, Ohio, instead of the typically rainy and soggy Miami, Florida. But we're getting some tight end highlights here. Reggie Kelly for the Cincinnati Bengals, Randy McMichael for the Miami Dolphins. So the tight ends getting a little bit of love before this game, and the Dolphins are going to take over this one from their own 20-yard line. Ricky getting the carry on the first play of the game, gives someone the shoulder, and gets 8 yards on the first play from scrimmage. So a good start for the Miami Dolphins. Coming up on a 2nd and 2, Ricky getting the call again, working around the block, or the lack of thereof. We forgot to put Parks in there for the block, but that's going to get us a first down regardless. Carson rolling out to the right, getting Chris Chambers on his first reception to the day, getting just over the line before getting tackled by Bobby Taylor. That's going to be a first down just over the chains. After a 2-yard gain on first down, we've got a 2nd and 8. Carson dropping back, trying to get the pass off, but he does take the sack from number 90. That would be Justin Smith on the Cincinnati Bengals side. On the next down, trying to keep the thing going, and he cannot keep the thing going. We just missed Randy McMichael on the throw over the top. It's going to be a 4th down. We're going to punt this one away to the Cincinnati Bengals. We send that one flying in the rain. It's going to be received by the Bengals, and you can see Travis Minor here on a beeline, gives him the shoulder, and Travis Minor, the backup running back, making a fantastic tackle to stop the punt return shorter than it could go. Rudy Johnson getting the carry, breaking out of one tackle, takes 3 Dolphins to take him down. That's going to be a 4-yard gain for the Cincinnati Bengal. A 2-yard gain later, it's 3rd and 4. Rolling right, throwing left, finding Chad Johnson is John Kitna. That's going to be a first down for the Cincinnati Bengals. 1st and 10, still in their own territory. Rudy Johnson getting the carry, shaking out of the tackle from Zach Thomas. It takes a 2nd Dolphin. That's a 5-yard gain for Rudy Johnson, shaking it off and baking it up. 2nd down and 5 yards. Rudy getting the call again. He's going to just warp himself directly out of the tackles, and Rudy is loose. Not one Dolphin is fast enough to catch up to him. We got the 10, we got the 5, and you're going to give Rudy Johnson all 6 of those. So in a flash, barely into the first quarter, Rudy Johnson has broken away for a big touchdown. Roll the blimp even in the rainy, electrocuted skies. The blimp is going to fly because this is a video game. You can see here that, we don't worry about warping through players or anything like that. This is what the difficulty's at sometimes. So if Rudy Johnson is going to literally defy physics, then Rudy Johnson is going to defy physics, and we're going to have to play a little bit better on defense if we want to get ourselves back into this game. The kick is up, and the kick is good from the Cincinnati Bengals, and just like that, 3 minutes left to go in the first quarter, and they are up 7-0 in this contest. Carson Palmer taking back over from his own 20, play action to Ricky, rolling just slightly to his left, firing over the middle, going to find Chris Chambers again way down the field. That's a reception for a first down and then some closer to midfield here. 2nd and 10 for the Dolphins. We're going to, once again, a little play action fake over the top to Randy McMichael. This time he's going to come down with it, and we are well into Cincinnati territory with that pass. Randy McMichael showing why he got that highlight in the beginning of the game. Carson dropping back, looking for someone, throwing it to the right side. That's Ricky with the ball, lowers his shoulder, and a stiff arm, getting the first down before running out of bounds. That's going to move the chains forward. Not quite first and goal, but we are inside of the 20, throwing it to the left side to a wide open Chris Chambers, who sees that one in, rain aside, and just like that, 2 minutes later, we only needed 2 minutes to get back on the board here, and we have ourselves a tie ball game, as we can see that Carson Palmer to Chris Chambers connection. Olindo Mare goes ahead and boots that one through the uprights. As you can see here, 2 minutes, 5 seconds to go, 80 yards, and that is a good sign for our offense leading into the end of the first quarter. John Kinna, short drop back, throwing back to the left side, gets Rudy Johnson. This time, our rookie outside linebacker Medina is there to make the tackle at the line. We mort forward to a 3rd and 10. John Kitna looking for the first down, throwing it over the middle, finds Chad Johnson in the middle of 4 Dolphin defenders, but Chad is the one who is the only one getting his hands on that. That is a first down and then some. Throwing to the right side, I believe that is, I think that's the tight end getting that reception. That's a 9-yard gain, and then the last play of the first quarter is Rudy Johnson getting just over that first down line, so he's going to convert and move the chains as we run out of time in the first quarter. So as we head into the first pause, we have the Dolphins and the Bengals tied up in a rainy battle here in Cincinnati. Heading into the second quarter, we've got John Kitna dropping back, throwing left, connecting with Chad Johnson, who reaches out, barely gets behind the line. That's going to be a 3rd and inches. So with the 3rd and pretty much nothing, it's Rudy Johnson just barely getting over that line, barreling into Neil Mathis. Neil Mathis, you're in your second year, but welcome to the league. Bruce Harris barely catches him before the end zone, and Rudy Johnson is going hard in the paint. He has 7 attempts for 101 yards. That's an average of 14.4 yards per carry and a touchdown, and that brutal shoulder charge is going to be bruising Neil Mathis's ego for years to come. On the next play, we've got Rudy to the right side again. He's got all of the blocks in front of him. It looks like one of our linebackers was there to make the tackle. It's now 2nd and goal, and then Rudy can just waltz on in to the left side. So Rudy Johnson is literally balling out for the Cincinnati Bengals. He has over 100 yards. It was a 10-play drive for 71 yards, just cruising right down the field, and he already has 2 touchdowns on this game. Now, while Rudy Johnson was kicking ass and taking names, Ricky Williams was having a tough game. As you can see there, that was a loss for 2, getting absolutely swarmed by Bengals defenders. Deep drop back for Carson Palmer, finally finding Antoine Randall L., who had himself a great first game, has been relatively quiet so far. That was his first reception, but it's a big reception, and it's going to move the chains for the Miami Dolphins. Once again, Ricky getting the toss to the left side, and he's going to lose 3 yards on the shoestring tackle from the defensive end there on the Cincinnati Bengals. So Ricky continues to struggle here in the second game of the season. Carson whipping it over to the right side. It's going to be incomplete to our rookie Reuben Manning, but we're going to get a little bit of a bailout. Not usual that the rookies get the call from the referees, but apparently that one was too blatant on the pass interference, and we're going to move the chains up to the 44-yard line. Now, I believe we're in almost Bengals territory. We're about at the 50. We find Yates over the middle, getting that reception and moving the chains on 3rd down. Great job by Carson Palmer. 2nd and 9 after another short run by Ricky Williams. He's looking around for somebody. We find Ricky, who was doing a fine job as a receiver, as he chews up about 6 yards on that one, making it 3rd and 3 as the clock winds down towards the 2-minute warning. Carson dropping back deep over the left side. Up goes Chris Chambers for this one, but he can't hold on to it. He can't believe he dropped it. We couldn't believe he dropped it, and we're going to go for it here on 4th and 3. We put the ball in Ricky's hands. This time he gets past the line and then some, using his shoulder to get over the first down line. That's going to move the chains and keep the drive alive for the Miami Dolphins. Carson dropping back, looking for a receiver, only going to find a sack from Justin Smith, his 2nd of the game. The clock will keep on running, and just as we approach 1 minute left in the half, we're at a 2nd and 14. The pressure is coming again, and this time Chris Hovan hits Carson Palmer for the deep sack. It's now a 3rd and 23 situation, so we went for it on 4th down to try and keep the thing alive, and we almost throw an interception on 3rd down, so we had to punt the ball away anyway. We wouldn't end up doing anything with the last couple of plays of the drive, and we're going to go into halftime down by a score of 7-14. Taking a quick look at the halftime tape, We're doing well passing the ball. We are doing not well running the ball. 15 yards on the ground, just 137 overall. We are out-possessing the Bengals, but they're doing a great job of rushing, and those 2 touchdowns by Rudy Johnson has been the difference maker so far. And speaking of the difference maker so far, Rudy Johnson is indeed our player of the half so far. Just 9 attempts, 108 yards, 2 total touchdowns. If that was a full game, that would be an amazing day, and we're only halfway into this game. So the Bengals do take over as the second half begins. Rudy Johnson working out of the hands of Jason Taylor, so he's just eluding our best tacklers on the field. Gets 6 yards after getting hit at the line of scrimmage, and Rudy Johnson continues right where he left off. Although we have a 3rd and 4 situation, Peanut Tillman trying to chase down Rudy Johnson, but he makes that reception and moves the chains. A couple of plays later, we got a 3rd and 8. John Kitna throwing to the left side, finds his man there, but we get the double tackle to force a 4th down. So great job on Washington there by our 2 guys on the left side. I believe that was Peanut Tillman and 1 other defender, to force the 4th down and to force the punt coming back to us. Our punt returner now, I believe that's Tatum Bell getting the ball, moving it forward, getting hit by his own blocker. We love it when our own blockers run into our punt returner, and that's going to be a decent return to the Miami 29. Trying to get things going for Ricky Williams, and nothing is going for Ricky Williams. They have a very strong linebacker unit. Ben Simmons is one of them. We go to the play action. Carson looking for a man, looking over the middle, finds Randall L. beautifully over the middle, right in stride, makes that reception and moves the chains for the Miami Dolphins. 2nd and 10 now as Carson gives the ball to Ricky Williams. He shakes out of 1 tackle. It takes a 2nd guy to take him down. We now have a 3rd and 4. Empty backfield for Carson. He sees the empty middle of the field in front of him. He makes the slide, and sometimes you just got to do it yourself. Carson Palmer moves the chains for the Miami Dolphins. 1st and 10, next play after that. Carson dropping back, looking to pass, throwing it over the middle, finding his rookie, Reuben Manning, way open over the middle. That's going to be a 1st down, and then some, moving way down the field to about the Cincinnati 20s. Carson dropping back under some pressure, rolling out to his right. He looking down the field, decides he doesn't like what he sees, works his way around the zone coverage. That was bad awareness by the Cincinnati cornerback, whoever that was, and Carson once again uses his legs to move the chains. It's now a 1st and goal situation. We give it to Ricky on the draw, trying to find some room for ourselves, and some room he finds. That's about a 6-yard gain, bringing it to a 2nd and goal. Carson gonna throw this time, rolling a little to his left, sees once again that the open field is in front of him, and he uses his game. I believe this is the 2nd game in a row that Carson Palmer has gotten a running touchdown. So I guess that's a new dimension for Carson. He's become a little bit of a rushing threat as well, especially if Ricky is not doing as good of a job. So 9 plays and 71 yards later, we have ourselves a tie ball game, but Rudy Johnson is still having himself a ridiculous game. That's a 9-yard gain on 2nd down, bringing up a 3rd and 1 situation. We're like sending the house at this point. Peanut Tillman makes the hit, but not until after Rudy moves the chains, because sometimes 2 yards is all you need. 2nd and 8 after a short run from Rudy. We're almost getting the sack there. Great blocks by the Cincinnati Bengals. Literally a brilliant block to give John Kitna just a little bit more time to find Chad Johnson streaking over the left side, and that is going to bring us to the 4th quarter, where once again the Bengals are knocking on our defense's door. It's 14-14. It's 2nd and 8 as the 4th quarter gets started, and Big Perk breaks through, gets himself a sack. That's a computer sack, which we always love to see, and it forces them back to a 3rd and 12 situation. 3rd and 12 now, deep, no backfield, and we can't make the stop. Washington makes the reception just over the 1st down line. We make the tackle, but we can't make the play on the ball. So that's going to be a 1st down just inside the 20-yard line for the Cincinnati Bengals. Pass rush coming, and somehow nobody can find their hands on the ball. Chad Johnson gets over the 1st down line. That's going to move the chains into a 1st and goal situation. Just under 7 minutes to play in the game. John Kitna rolling back, throwing right. Almost interception, just in and out of the hands of Reggie Howard. Could have been the hero, but he drops the ball, and Peanut Tillman just, I don't know what he was doing there, man. He makes a terrible play on the ball. Chad Johnson just shakes him out of his boots. I guess he was going for the interception for some reason, and he had no one in front of him to get into the end zone, so that is going to make it a 21-14 ball game, but we have plenty of time, 6 minutes and 35 seconds to get ourselves down the field to try and tie this one up or more. Carson dropping back, whipping it to the right side. Chris Chambers has the ball, has a little bit of room, gets tackled over the 1st down line, and we're going to take a quick moment to look at the production numbers for Chambers. 4 catches, 61 yards. yards, and Randall L. so far just 2 catches and 34 yards. Carson, with 6 minutes to go, hands this one off to Ricky, bounces off of a defender. He gets some open air. He can't quite make it into the open field, but he does make it over the first down line. 1st and 10 now. The next play, Carson dropping back, short drop, drops back a little bit farther, finds Ricky on the flat, has some room, uses the shoulder, get open, gets tackled out of bounds. That's going to stop the clock partially and give the Dolphins another first down. The offense is doing their thing so far in this game. We've got a toss to Ricky to the right side. He's got some air again, trying to find it all the way to the outside, but he'll take those 5 yards as the clock continues to run. We're just under 4.5 minutes left to play in this one. Carson dropping back, rolling right some more, gonna decide to go for it. He's got no one in front of him. He's getting as far as he can, slides down just before the 20-yard line, and once again, the legs of Carson Palmer are making some of the differences here as we head down into 3 minutes left to play. Carson getting the ball off just before the time clock runs out, finds Randy McMichael. That's going to move the ball up a little bit farther to a 3rd and 2 situation. We head to that 3rd and 2, and it's Ricky with some blocks. Shout out to Angelo Parks making that nice block on the linebacker to open up that hole. Just over 2 minutes to play. We drop back on a short drop. We roll a little bit farther. We throw it to Ricky on the flat. I truly thought he was going to continue to streak to the outside, so we end up losing 2 yards on that one at the 2-minute warning from shotgun. Carson faking, lobbing over to the left side, and that is just an incredibly athletic interception by Bobby Taylor. We thought we had Antoine Randall L. dead to rights in the corner of the end zone, and as you can see here, Bobby Taylor just gets in front of the underthrown ball, rises up, makes the play, and puts his knee down. And that is pretty much all the Cincinnati Bengals are going to need, because when you have Rudy Johnson breaking tackles and making 9 yards on his first play of the game, even though we need to save as many timeouts as possible, all they really need here is to get over the first down line, and Rudy spins himself to that first down. We waste our second timeout right there, so we have a 1st and 10. Rudy running again, getting some open field. It looks like Greenwood and Peanut Tillman get in there for the tackle. That is our final timeout that we have to burn. And then the Bengals, they do decide to kneel it down, go into 4th down, needing to punt the ball. So they do technically leave a little bit of extra opportunity for us to come through and make a play. We decide to go for the block, so we're not going to get a return on here. Maybe that was a mistake on my part. We probably could have gotten a little bit of a return. So with 12 seconds to go, we need something to happen. We throw it over the middle to Manning, who makes the play, gets over the line, but we don't really call a play fast enough, and he doesn't hustle to the line, and we end the game right there with the loss in our column coming early in this season. We drop this one to the Cincinnati Bengals by a score of 21-14. So definitely not our best performance. We're going to see here that Ricky really struggled mightily to do literally anything in this game, which is a bummer, but a loss is a loss. We'll have things to learn. We have potential moves that we can make. All is not lost. The panic button is not going off quite yet. We had 202 passing yards, we had 86 rushing yards, but you can see here those 154 rushing yards, especially Rudy Johnson having 151 of them, and those 2 touchdowns in the first half made a whole bunch of a difference in this game. Our defense did not play very well on the rushing side of the ball. Carson did what he could. He had 15 completions, 21 attempts, 71% overall, 202 yards, 1 touchdown, and 1 interception, which was just a very athletic play by one Bobby Taylor. Rudy Johnson had 151 yards and Ricky only had 44, so just like not a good game for Ricky. It was kind of an alarm-raising sort of a game. Chad Johnson had 73 yards on 6 catches. You can see Chambers had 61 yards and had the 1 touchdown for the receptions as well. Looks like Peanut Tillman led the way with 5 tackles and 2 assists. Harris was on there as well. We had a sack for Big Perk. Good job getting in there, Big Perk. And our passes defended, Peanut, Howard, and Mathis each getting 1, but it was Bobby Taylor that got the 1 big interception that made pretty much it closed the door on the game. So that is our first loss of the season. The Cincinnati Bengals moved to 2-0 as we head into a very tough test against the Baltimore Ravens. We have struggled against them historically, not just in this series, but in this game in general, because you know that with the Ravens comes a good defense. So we're going to head straight into Week 2 SportsCenter, and then we're going to head out. I hope you have a good one. We'll see you on the next one.
Hi there, I'm Chris Berman. We got a lot of games to cover, so let's get to it. In our first game this week, we had the Jaguars squeeze out a 4-point victory. In a long-standing NFC rivalry, we had the Giants pick up their first win of the year. Hines Ward had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. Lambert pulled down 100-plus receiving yards and helped his Panthers beat the Raiders. We had a big injury in this one, and Trey has the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris, thanks. In front of you, we've got the AFC Infirmary Report. And as you can see, they were hit hard this week. Charles Lee might be the biggest loss on this list. He'll be out for 9 weeks. In front of you, we've got the NFC list. And as you can see, they could form their own MASH unit. Gary Walker is probably the one that most leaps out at you. It's reported that he's broken his hip, and if that's the case, he'll be out for 6 weeks. So that'll do it for now. Chris, let's send it back to you.
On the frozen tundra of Lambeau Field in Green Bay, we had the Packers edge their way to a narrow 3-point win. Seahawks, Saints. Matt Hasselbeck is always a double threat in the red zone at the 5-yard line. There's a snap, and in the slot, the back quickly in the end zone for 6. The Seahawks win this one by the final score of 35-14. Up in Ford Field, we had the Lions edge their way to a narrow 3-point win. The Bills' defense held their opponents to under 100 passing yards in their win at Qualcomm Stadium. We had a big trade also of note here. Trey's got the lowdown for us. Trey?
All right, Chris. Well, trades aren't quite as common in the NFL nowadays as they are in other sports, certainly. But we've got news to report to you on the trading front nonetheless. Tanui Finoti leaves the Chargers and will be on his way to the Patriots. So he'll be asked to be a big part in what will be a revamped offensive line. In exchange, they'll get someone to beef up their roster. Joe Andruzzi is a guy that ought to be able to fit right in with his new club, and he should make his presence felt over time.
The Titans won at home, but will take to the road next week to meet the Colts. Horton had a stellar game, but all said and done, his performance wasn't enough to lift his team to a victory. Patriots, Chiefs. Strickland is taking a look at the defense behind the quarterback at his own 14-yard line. Whoop! There he goes with a beautiful spin. Celebrate a touchdown. The Patriots go on to win this by the final score of 24-10. Rudy Johnson was responsible for over 150 yards rushing and helped his Bengals beat the Dolphins. In the city of brotherly love, Philadelphia, we had the Eagles edge their way to a narrow 3-point win. Down in Tampa, we had the Buccaneers get squeezed out by 4 points. The Falcons' defense got to the quarterback 4 times in their win at the Georgia Dome. And last but not least, we had the Ravens come away victorious. So, 2 weeks into the books here on ESPN, here's my prime time performers for week number 2, and each is going to get a game ball. That'll do it, sports fans. I'm Chris Berman, and thanks so much for joining us here in the Bristol studios. We'll see you next week right here on ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports.